off the streets of the village of Maywood. And as I just stated earlier, aggravated hijacking, 10 last year. We actually have 12. We just had one the other day. All right. So for the homicide that we do have, you know what? I give kudos to my detectives with all the hard work they did. So we had 4 homicides. We just saw 2 of them. We're looking for the offender on the 3rd one. So before the summer's out, we're out. If we don't have any other ones, we'll be solving 3 of the 4 homicides versus what we had last year. Our partnership with local law enforcement agencies and organizations are important, but MPD is also very dependent on the residents and concerned citizens of the village to take ownership, not only of their own property, but take the initiative to report suspicious vehicle activity, event, or anything else that may prove to be vital piece of information that our officers need to prevent another loss of life within the village of Maywood. I want to thank all of you for your kind time. Now ask if you have any questions.
Thank you, Chief, for that great detailed report. Trustee Brandon.
So, yeah, I was on 19 and Oak the other day, and I know you mentioned about putting something on 19th St. Charles, but it appears that when cars come up past St. Charles, they like speed like it's an expressway along 19th. So, you know, I'm just trying to figure out what, and I know that there was a car there, a police car, naval car, that was located on Oak Street, but it was too far back, where like when you, by the time you approach Oak Street, you already passed the car. You know, they're not stopping at that stop sign. I know one of the residents had like multiple cars running to the porch over there, but just to get some additional attention to that area. And I believe that, because I was watching all of the cars go by like it was an expressway, that we need to be, you know, more heavy when it relates to giving out tickets. And, you know, I think that if we could, you know, do something in that regard in that particular area, it would slow some of the traffic down on 19th.
So you saying that from 19th from St. Charles down to Oak?
No, I'm saying once they pass St. Charles, coming from out of Narrow Park, once they get past St. Charles, every single car that I've witnessed over there was speeding down 19th like it was an express.
Traveling southbound on 19th.
Traveling southbound on 19th.
Right, so that's what I just said earlier. That's what we live at, put the speed cushions in to slow that traffic down. Coming from 19, going southbound to Washington. That'll be, if we can get the speed cushions over there, that'll be slowing that traffic down. That's what the speed cushion was at, Trustee. Okay. Questions? Yes, sir.
What about, is there something we can do for like coming down from on 25th Avenue, like from Roosevelt back down to Lexington? It's just like a hot race track from Roosevelt straight down to Lexington. That's the light, at the light green, they're doing 45 about every day.
And that's on. So you must be there, but that's
I'm right up there. They call that IDOT territory.
Okay. You know what? I haven't looked into that. So some of the stuff that I brought up tonight is based off what citizens have reported to me during the MAPS meetings. Mm-hmm. And those are some of the things that we get out the right away. So like I say, by you bringing this up, I'll definitely look into that and try to get you an answer.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
What about Warren Boulevard, a block east of Irving School? They come around that corner, you can hear the wheels screeching, and they're doing 50 miles an hour from that point all the way to 9th Avenue.
All right. So my executive assistant here, she's taking the notes down. So you said Warren Boulevard?
On Warren Street, Irving, it leads right into Irving School.
At 16?
Yes.
Okay.
And from 16th all the way down to 9th, you can hear them all the way down like it's on a racetrack.
16, you talking about 17? The 16 goes southbound.
Right. They come around the corner, they whip
But
around the
16 goes to
corner
Madison.
and get toward 9th.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay, you're talking about on Warren. On Warren, I
Warren
got you.
Street.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
I have one.
Yes, ma'am.
He was talking about 19th Avenue. There used to be a sign that didn't allow trucks to come down 19th Avenue, right there by Maywood Square. When they revamped that the asphalt there, they took that sign down and it's not there. So it's like an escape route or route for people to get on that expressway.
Yes.
And they used that 19th, right there by the park, that whole area right there, to come around and escape 17th to get on the expressway on 19th.
All right, so I'm not versed in that, so I'll look at the
Winfield
ordinances,
Park.
the ordinances on that.
Speaking of Winfield Park,
Yes, sir.
So I'm doing Maywood, and I'm right there on Third.
Welcome to the Village of Maywood.
Yes, sir, my home, and I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you.
But I live right there on Third Avenue, right there on the expressway where they take, 290.
Yes, sir.
When that place gets backed up, they zoom right through it. And this is like, we're talking 8:95 in the morning. They're zooming through there because it's already backed up. And a couple of the residents that I've been talking with, they're also expressed, we need a road bound for a cul-de-sac. I couldn't say cul-de-sac, but not to mention road bound for a cushion. It may not be bad because we do have kids that live in the neighborhood. And sometimes they go the opposite way, what I've been noticing, the opposite way just to get on the just to get on Third Street. They don't use, they come in the opposite way. I didn't even know, I thought it was two-way until the other day. I just said, well, it's not two-way.
And that's because of that expressway ramp.
That's right, once it gets
Okay.
locked up, especially in the morning, they zoom through.
Okay, now I get to my traffic investigator, and we'll look into that too. Like I said, we be doing analysis over there too,
Right.
for speed bump over there too.
Thank
I'm gonna take a couple more questions for the sake of time, because I know everybody wants to get out of here. Yes, ma'am.
With the crosswalks on the Prairie Path, has there any thought been given to getting flashing signs? Because if you stop to let someone cross, somebody's gonna come around your car and potentially hit the runners, riders, and walkers.
So, yes, and it's something I didn't bring to Trustee Peppers. It's something on my next agenda that we're gonna bring to Trustee Peppers in reference to the flashing stop signs. So yes, we are looking at that there. Two more questions. Yes, sir.
since we're talking about speeding and one of those streets that get a lot of that traffic, I wanted to mention Chicago Avenue. As per our ordinances, there's no parking on Chicago Avenue from First Avenue to 9th. But you see people parking on Chicago Avenue. I own a house on Chicago Avenue. I've even gotten a ticket, paid it, because I know it's against the ordinance. But it's not being enforced. And one thing I hear the most, why aren't there any signs up? So it's in our ordinances. It's against the law to park there. But we don't have any signs up there posted to notify any motorist that it's a violation.
Okay.
What can we do to fix it?
All right, so you said signs on Chicago Avenue from 9th back down to First
From
Avenue?
First to 9th. They
Okay.
come off of River Road and go fast as they can all the way down. And when you have cars parked on that 2-lane street, I've seen plenty of accidents.
Right.
Plenty in front of my house. And I
So like I
think
say, my executive assistant working that much, taking that down, I go out there and look at that, and I work with public works as well as code to see what we can do to address that.
appreciate it.
No problem, sir. Last question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question regarding South 4th Avenue and Wilcox. Over there, after the reconstruction of the street, there are parking lots for vehicles. But the way they are parking, if you're coming on Wilcox, driving west, and try to turn on 4th Avenue, it doesn't matter if it's south or north. There is no visual. You cannot, when all the cars are parked, when all the vehicles are parked, you cannot see the traffic. And furthermore, there are 2 stop signs. There is one on Wilcox, there is one on 4th Avenue. But there is no third one, so when the traffic comes down from south driving to north, actually they can speed up. And this is also bad talking about Prairie Path because vehicles can accelerate all the way down on 4th Avenue, all the way up to pretty much for 2 blocks. Is there a way to be a stop sign installed over there? In this case, there is a specific distance between the stop sign and the intersection that vehicles cannot be parked. This would change definitely the visibility of the street and also slow down the traffic. And instead of vehicles flying down on 4th Avenue, crossing Prairie Path and going north on 4th Avenue, they will be slowing before the parade park, and also accidents can be prevented.
Okay.
Thank you.
I know exactly what you're talking about. You know, like I say, I get with Mr. Peter Hansen and look at our engineer and see what we can do. But I know exactly what you're talking about, so I appreciate that. So, no more questions for the city? Oh, sorry.
Harrison, between 9th Avenue and they turn on Harrison. It's a roadway. It's
So we looking at that one. We looking at, we know that's, because from 9th to 17th, there's nothing on that street. Yeah, we got that on, the radar, we get there too.
because it's all day and all night.
Yep. So we have to be looking at that one. That's something that our traffic analyst is looking into now. Yep, so Mayor, any questions, trustees?
Board? I have a question. Trustee Sanchez?
Chief, you said something about block parties. Are we currently issuing permits for these block parties?
Yes, so clerk does set us block party affidavit, sign up sheets and stuff like that. So what I do is we vet it with our staff. If my staff tells us that, that block party is going to be a hindrance to the village of Maywood, then we just put it down. As of right now, I think I might have signed off on maybe 3 to 4 block parties. As of right now. So they don't come in a lot like they did in the years prior. I think I might have signed on, but the staff, we actually vet them to make sure that's what we have with it.
Thank you.
All right. Trustee?
Trustee Pepper? Oh, Trustee Lightfoot.
From Roosevelt and 9th Avenue, you come down 11th Avenue from Roosevelt to the expressway to get on at night. They speed. When they turn around Popeye's Chicken, also they turn the wrong way at Roosevelt Popeye's Chicken. There's no left turn, and they turn left anyway. So you can get a lot of tickets right there at Popeye's Chicken.
Taking over there, trustee.
Oh yeah, all the time. When I be turning in, all the big cars coming in, turning the Popeye going home. But when they speed down 11th Avenue, when they pass Fillmore, they speed on. Sometimes they miss the stop sign at Harvard because they keep on down to the expressway. I was wondering, could you put a speed bump on 11th Avenue in the area so to break them down so they won't be speeding? Because we got a lot of children on 11th Avenue.
Let me reiterate this. So what we do, I don't want to think that, we don't want to put speed bumps in the whole village.
Right.
We don't want to do that.
They are speeding going to the
So
expressway.
what we do a traffic analysis in reference to where we think that we're going to get the bigger bang for the buck at. And as Trustee Brandon said earlier, we looked at 19th and we saw that, and we looked at, we would like to do 5th Avenue, but that's just too big for a major thoroughfare to do something like that on that street there. But like I said, we're looking at a couple of more locations and stuff like that. You'll hear me come before you and ask the board for, some money, but probably put these speed bumps. All right? One more question. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Thank you, Chief. All right, so for other oath reports, proclamations, and announcements, first, we're going to read off on a few different proclamations that was requested by the mayor's office. So we're going to do a proclamation in regards and recognition of Juneteenth as a holiday. Whereas June 19, 2022 is the 157th year of Juneteenth Freedom Day, a nationally recognized day celebrating the rich culture, heritage, and legacy of African Americans. And whereas Juneteenth is the oldest known celebration commemorating the abolishment of slavery in the United States, dating back to June 19, 1865, when Major General Gordon Granger and Union soldiers arrived in Galveston, Texas, with the news that the war had ended, freeing the enslaved. And whereas this news came 2.5 years after President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation became official on January 1st, 1863. And whereas yesterday, Juneteenth serves as a monumental day of remembrance and acknowledgement of the history, freedom, culture, perseverance, and achievement of the past, present, and future generations of the African American community. And whereas Juneteenth holds an important place not only in African American history, but in the history of the United States of America as a time to reflect, honor, and celebrate the triumph, memory, and culture of African American people. And whereas on June 17, 2021, President Joseph Biden signed the Juneteenth bill establishing Juneteenth National Independence Day as a federal holiday and therefore be resolved that I, Mayor Nathaniel George Booker, and the Board of Trustees do hereby proclaim June 19th, 2022 to be Juneteenth Independence Day of the Village of Maywood. The next proclamation is in recognition of the LGBTQI+ Pride Month. Whereas the Village of Maywood recognizes and proclaims that the month of June 2022 is Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, Queer, and Intersex Pride Month throughout the Village of the Eternal Light, and all humans are whereas all human beings are born free and equal in the dignity and rights, LGBTQI+ individuals have had an immeasurable impact to the cultural, civic, and economic successes of our country. And whereas the Village of Maywood is committed to supporting visibility, dignity, and equity for our LGBTQ+ residents in our diverse community, and whereas the nation was founded on the principle that every individual has infinite dignity and worth, and the Village of Maywood calls upon people of our community to embrace this principle and work to eliminate prejudice, whereas it exists, and whereas celebrating Pride Month influences awareness and provides support and advocacy for Maywood's LGBTQI+ community, and is an opportunity to take advantage and engage in dialogue to strengthen alliances, build acceptance, and advance equal rights. Therefore, be resolved that the Village of Maywood hereby proclaims the month of June 2022 as Pride Month in support of the LGBTQ+ community. Then the final proclamation is in recognition of National Homeownership Month. Whereas President Joe Biden has issued a proclamation recognizing June as National Homeownership Month, showcasing homeownership as a source of economic strength and emphasizing the need to increase the ranks of homeowners, especially among minorities. National Homeowners Week began in 1995 as a strategy of President Bill Clinton's administration to increase homeownership across America. And in 2002, President George Bush expanded the observation of the period from 1 week into an entire month, and this year marks the 20th anniversary of the month-long observation. Home ownership not only builds financial security, but it creates stronger communities, and every American should be able to afford the rent or own a home of their own. Therefore, be it resolved that the Village of Maywood acknowledges June 2022 as a National Homeownership Month and is committed to ensuring our residents have access to affordable and equitable housing. All right. A couple of other announcements is this Saturday, June 25th at 3 p.m. Something Special Beauty Supply and Distribution will be having their grand opening at 901 South 5th Avenue. Also, this Saturday, June 25th, Lickley, Jamaica at 620 South 5th Avenue will be celebrating their first year anniversary. That will be at 11 a.m. And then tomorrow, the Maywood Park District will be hosting their second for the summer Wind Down Wednesday, right at 50 Madison. So that's where the grass spot is, where Reed's Depot is. So that starts at 5:30, and that's tomorrow, Wednesday, June 22nd. That concludes what I have in regards to oath reports and proclamations, except for one more thing. One moment. I want to acknowledge our Village of Maywood clerk, Ms. Juwan Diane Williams. Today is her birthday, and she's kick it off.
Thank
1, 2.
you.
You guys know what to do. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Claire. Happy birthday to you. All right, Trustee Brandon.
Yes, I want to make a few announcements. First and foremost, I want to take the time and opportunity to thank Lysandra Banks, who helped to spearhead the West Villages parade that took place here in the Village of Maywood, along with all of those participating communities, including River Forest, Oak Park, as well as Forest Park. We had representation from Bellwood as well as Broadview as well. It was a huge success. I don't know, Ms. Banks put in a lot of work things. I would also make an announcement. As we prepare to kick off our annual Safe Summer Signature event. We will be starting with our Teen Medical School program, which will be held at Providence High School, starting July the 16th, Saturday, July the 16th. This program will be free to Maywood young people, ages 5th grade through grade 7. Again, it will be held in the Fred Hampton Community Justice Room, which is also the social room over at Providence Louise. And this is actually being sponsored by Loyola, is coming in to sponsor this program. We will also be holding at the end of July our annual Maywood Day at Brookfield Zoo. So if you all are in need of tickets, you guys will be able to reach out to myself or Ms. Banks, who will be helping to coordinate the ticket giveaways for the event. And then we will be having a college experience day over at Dominican University for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders to be future focused as it relates to college. So those will be our Safe Summer Signature events that we'll be holding, and we will end with our annual giveaway, back to school giveaway, where doing something a little bit different. We're preparing to give away laptops this year. So that is the direction that we're headed. I just wanted to give you all that additional information. But the parade over the weekend was awesome. State Representative and Speaker of the House, Chris Welch, also had a great Juneteenth Day event over in Hillside as well. So I encourage Maywood residents to get engaged in all of the programs that will be happening this summer. I know Trustee Peppers / Coach Pep will be hosting a huge football situation this summer as well. I know last year was a huge success, so we look forward to young people engaging in that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Peppers.
Yeah, piggyback on what Trustee Brandon said in reference to the football camp. It's called the Jads Pep Sergio Brown football camp. It's going to be July 13th through the 16th. Last year we had over 300 kids. It's hosted at Providence East from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Everything is free for the young men. From 8 to 8 to sign up on Eventbrite. I'll forward the information. Ms. Banks, it's pretty much on all my social media. I went public with it. Last year we had over 300 kids each day for 4 days, and this year we expect 350. We already have 200 kids signed up already, so we cut it off at 300. So I would advise you guys to sign up your young men. The ages are 8 to 18, and it's a free camp. They get a lot of goodies. We feed them all day, every day. And it's a lot of fun, a lot of instruction in football, and we really highlight one of our own, Sergio Brown, who I used to coach and went to Notre Dame and also played in the NFL 7 years. So it's just due diligence to take care of our community and making sure we give our young men an opportunity to enjoy football and use football as an opportunity to open up the doors in their life. So thank you.
We are going to go to 7A, financial report by Lonnie Satchel, Finance Director for the month ending June 2022. We amount $952,574.31. And 7B, Village of Maywood warrant list number 200526 through June 21, 2022.
For the record, I'm not sure if this is imposed or not, but it's not for the month ending June 2022. So we should strike that because we will have an actual monthly report for June. It really shouldn't be either. It should just be something.
So we'll make that correction. Does anybody on the board have any questions? All right, thank you. No. Thank you, Director Satchel. All right, 8A, A. We'll go into State of Maywood 2022 review.
All right, so we had the State of Maywood meeting last month where we discussed the first year for our administration and different things that have taken place. The full copy of the presentation is available for download on the village website. So just want to highlight a couple of things in regards to that report that was discussed during the meeting. So everyone, we talked about the different infrastructure needs that are needed for the village of Maywood. So in discussing our needs for alley, roadways, water systems, lead piping replacement, our sewer, various needs for safety, streetscaping, and then just overall things keeping in line with the regional. Initially, that report showcased that we needed $283 million. Looking at post-inflation of everything going on with COVID-19, now that everything costs more, we are looking at a little bit over $300 million in regards to some of those needs that we need to take care of in regards to infrastructure. Where we are today, and looking at different roadway and water main improvements that have taken place or will be taking place, is, as you can see, all of the various different projects, the sources in which that they've been funded from. And again, all of this is available for download on the village website. What we have spent over $4 million in regards to various different projects to get our roadways and our water main improvements taken care of. One of the biggest issues that we know that we have with our water mains is our lead service lines are a huge issue for the village of Maywood. So when we're discussing different things in regards to our roadway, we also want to make sure that we're taking care of things that are underground within our water and our various infrastructure. Big conversation that comes into play when we talk about where are we at with Washington Boulevard. So the engineering design has been completed. The bill that gave us an additional $1.45 million, so that from Congressman Davis, that covered the funding that the village of Maywood would have had to come up with. So that has moved to Illinois, and it's been set up for the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning so that we can actually receive the funds. As of June 10th, the plan, specs, contracts, and package has been submitted to IDOT. There's some water main replacements that will have to take place. There is some infrastructure in regards to sidewalk projects that will have to take place as well. Going into November, by the end of the year, once the specs and everything is approved, pending once all of this goes according to plan, the state will bid out the opening process to get Washington Boulevard completed. A bid should be selected by January of 2023. Pre-construction would start February of 2023, and we should be able to break ground in regards to working on Washington Boulevard by April of 2023. And then Washington Boulevard from 9th to 21st will be completed the summer of 2023, and will also include new bike lane. So when we talk about Washington Boulevard, I just want to give everybody an update in regards to where we are. We do have the funding, the money is there to get the job done. We're right now just going through the process in regards to the Illinois Department of Transportation, going through the process of the bidding process that we have to do through the state, and making sure that everything is taken care of. But just wanted to share where we are specifically on Washington Boulevard as a project. Another big project that we're working on, again, when we talk about our sewer grade system, so in regards to upgrading the sewer grade system, there is a multi-phase plan that's being worked on right now, primarily where we have one line backage versus dual line backage. And that primarily is from Madison going towards the expressway, and then on the other side of the expressway, on the south side of Maywood, where we're looking at the homes that are closer to the Broadview side. So this is a multi-phase plan that subfunding has been established. Additional funding is pending and being requested, but it is a very pricey As you guys can see, each phase, where you see 3.5 million, 2.1 million, 2.1 million, each phase has a price tag to it. That we are diligently working with federal, state, and county stakeholders to identify funding where we can. But this is an ongoing project that has already started. Active grants that we currently have within the village of Maywood and where we are within those phases total over $11 million that we currently have in partnership through the county, through the Water Reclamation District, in partnership with ComEd and the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. So these are different things in different areas where you can see sewer line separations, alley projects taking place, water system analysis taking place, water main issues being fixed, as well as some of our overall infrastructure. Pending grants that we have applied for so far in regards again to taking care of some of our surfacing, taking care of some of our streets, our prairie path, as well as our commercial corridors, totals about $15 million that we're looking for updates in pending status right now. So we should be able to have some updates as soon as those things come out. We'll be able to update everyone in regards to that. Upcoming grants that we're making sure that the village of Maywood is at the best place to be prepared to accept or for us to go is access to our transit, green infrastructure, focusing on our environmental protection aspect with our lead service lines. Again, over 70% of the village of Maywood's lines are lead service. So when you think about the 1,300 communities in the state of Illinois, according to the Metropolitan Planning Council, the village of Maywood ranks 23 out of 1,300 for some of the poorest lead service lines. So that is a huge project that we are working on. Again, more infrastructure building, more infrastructure, safe streets and roads, some of our brownfields, which would address some properties and land throughout the village that need to go through a cleaning process or some tanks that would need to be removed. Federal emergency management for hazard mitigation, research and infrastructure to spur economic development, which is a planning grant, as well as planning grant within the water reclamation. So an update in regards to, we showed this, I want to say late last year, fourth quarter of last year, where we were discussing within our TIF mapping of how we are working to not only have the TIFs benefit commercial businesses, but also benefit some of our residential areas as well. So some of the same offerings and programs that we're able to offer businesses where our commercial corridor currently is heavily TIFed, we'll be able to offer some similar programs that will benefit homeowners within the village of Maywood as well. So once this goes through the state process and comes back, we as a board will come together and get some programs in place, such as like right now, there are things that we're working with from a business perspective, but would help residents from things from an aesthetic standpoint within your home. Active construction projects right now in the village of Maywood. So the old Baptist Home Senior Living, that's going to be 100 unit of supportive living. That property has hired their new executive director. They've hired a recruitment team in regards to bringing on staff. So they are currently hiring. Move-in for residents and application process should be launching. What they're going to do is be letting the village of Maywood residents know of the application process so that we can get ahead of the curve. If you are a resident that is interested in assisted living, you can contact Ms. Banks and let her know now, and she can let the supportive living individuals know so that you guys can be put at the front of the line. So with the assisted living, that facility will be for seniors. It will have 3 meals a day. It'll have a movie theater. It'll have a library. It'll have doctors on staff. It will have a salon. It'll have a little mini store inside of it. But each of the apartments are more so like dorm style living, where you come down to the main kitchen for food 3 times a day. There is little kitchenettes in each one of the rooms, but it's a really nice facility, and they are doing a lot of work to it. So we look forward to cutting the ribbon on that very soon, hopefully by the end of this summer. National Cycle is in the final phases. They did a 22,000 square foot expansion on their lot off 20th and Madison. So for those who are not familiar with National Cycle is a national retailer for motorcycle parts, ATV parts, anything that's plastic that pretty much goes over anything automotive. They provide services throughout the world. 1900 Maywood Drive, for those who have been down Maywood Drive, you see the 84,000 square feet facility that's being built. That building is pretty much almost ready to go. It's going to be a warehouse food distribution center. So look out for more announcements coming from that very shortly. Aetna Solutions, which is on 14th and St. Charles, is doing expansion. They're closing their facility that they have in Cicero and moving the work product and the work that they do within Cicero over to the lot and the land that they have here in the village of Maywood. And I'm sure if you guys recall that last year, year before, there was conversation in them moving away from the village of Maywood altogether. We've been able to have different conversations, and last year the board was able to approve some tax credits for them, as well as some incentives to make them be able to stay within the village of Maywood. And now not only are they staying within the village of Maywood, but they're expanding and bringing more jobs into the village of Maywood. IFF Residential Development Project, they are currently laying foundation for 24 different units that will be affordable housing, housing for veterans, and housing for handicapped. So those projects, if you look throughout 5th Avenue, if you look on Madison and 6th, if you look off of Madison and 8th, their foundations are laid. They're building those projects right now. So we look forward to welcoming those openings happening soon. ABW Car Wash, they are off of 9th and 9th and St. Charles. They just wrapping up a 14,000 square foot expansion. ABW Car Wash parts are exactly what it says. They provide the different equipment once a car wash is built of what goes into it. So they are expanding. Instead of moving out of the village of Maywood, they were looking at one point of relocating, but they were able to acquire some land around them and working with our community development department to do an expansion. Buddy Bear Car Wash. If everybody looks on 1st Avenue, the 1200 block where there was an old gas station that has now been torn down and there's a fence around it, that will be a Buddy Bear Car Wash that is under construction right now. We will be welcoming our full-service restaurant and lounge here in the village of Maywood. At 406 South 5th, right now, there is a building that's being under construction right now to be a full-service restaurant and lounge. Shell gas station on 3rd and Roosevelt. If everybody remembers where the old Falcon Fuel was, you guys can see the fence around it right now. There's construction going on. That small building will be getting torn down, and they'll be building a bigger facility on the back end of the lot and rearranging. That will be a Shell gas station. Then we also have Slice Factory that's coming in to replace where the old White Castle was. So as you guys can see, there is a lot of active construction projects that are currently going on. Within feasibility studies, requests for proposals, and active conversations, we are still working on our federally qualified health center at the identified location of 5th and Washington, where it's currently a vacant lot across from where the grocery store was. That feasibility study is in its 3 months phase of it. That report should be done September, October. Then from that, we'll be working with the federal government and the state government to get that project funded and up and going. This is something that Congressman Davis is heavily involved with. The Illinois Department of Human Services, the Illinois Department of Public Health, as well as Trinity Health, that is the owner and operator for Loyola and Gottlieb Hospital, are all assisting with this project. So we look forward to great productivity with that. The Maywood grocery store does have interest in regards to purchasing it as a grocery store. So right now, we have developers that are going in multiple times, looking at the different locations. So we look forward to having some updates in regards to that shortly. CTA Blue Line expansion, there has been conversation with the 290 expansion to move the Blue Line to 1st Avenue, but then there's also conversation to move it not only to 1st Avenue to Manheim. So please stay tuned for updates in regards to that. The old Ceasefire building on the 1100 block of South 11th, is being worked on right now. There's various issues in regards to like old mold and different things that needs to be taken care of so that we can work with that being a green health and well-being center. Prairie Path revamp, again, as you guys saw before, we were looking at waiting on pending different grants. The 9th Avenue Pavilion and Dog Park. So if you guys look where the water park is right now, on the 1100 block of 9th Avenue, there is a park currently right there. When we transferred the parks from the village of Maywood over to the Maywood Park District, that park specifically was an issue with insuring for the Illinois Association of Park District and the Illinois Park and Recreation Association. Because of how old that park is, that park will be ripped out and it will be worked out where that space is potentially going to become a pavilion space that can be rented for like picnics, barbecues, family reunions, and different things like that, as well as a definitely designated space for a dog park along the Prairie Path. I showed you guys the map in regards to the TIF mapping, and then the First Avenue commercial rezoning from Madison to Harrison. Right now, if you look from Madison to Harrison, there are a lot of abandoned homes along that corridor. That space is being remapped, so it's right now the homes that are vacant are being flipped from residential zoning to commercial zoning. And as those homes become vacant, that will switch over to commercial zoning as well. So stay tuned for more updates in regards to that. Other projects that we talk about when we're talking about reimagining Maywood, the new Fred Hampton Aquatic Center. So right now, working with the state from the feasibility thought process of to get the current pool that's almost 60 years old up and running will be over $1 million to get everything that needed to sustain that. To rip that out and put a new pool in is more like $4 to $5 million. And there is a lot of funding available through the OSLAC grant process that we were granted a small amount to fix the issues, but we have the opportunity because of COVID and the extension that was provided to go for even more. So stay tuned for updates in regards to that. We are working with the Metropolitan Planning Council and the Age Options and Aging in a Changing Region in regards to talking about village residential property rehab for community sustainability programming, as well as aging in place for senior home assistance programming. And this is all within the Aging in a Changing Region. So stay tuned in regards to updates for those things that will be coming. Right now, what we're looking at is our comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan is over a decade old at this point. So we're looking at revamping that plan. So we talk about the 19th and St. Charles corridor, the 17th and Madison corridor, and where we are with the golf range that the village currently owns. Those are different things that will be coming up in conversations over the summer with the board that will encompass community meetings to get buy-in and to get feedback in regards to the community. Last year, the village did acquire the golf range. What we had to do was wait for the EPA to give clearance to even be on the golf range because it is the old garbage dump. So there's a clay cap. So in order to be able to go onto the grounds, we had to get clearance to be able to do that. So look out for more updates in regards to thought processes of how to move forward with the golf range. Other than that, I did speak specifically about the federally qualified health center, definitely focusing on preventative health services, dental health services, mental health and substance abuse services, and transportation, hospital, and specialty care. So the concept that we're working on, again, that's a photo of a current federally qualified health center that sits in Ogden down in the city of Chicago. They have a lot of the amenities that we're looking to bring to the village of Maywood. We've toured this facility multiple different times at this point, and this is something that Trinity Health, Lawndale Christian Health Center, as well as IFF are working to bring as a proposal as a full feasibility study. There'll be 2 community meetings that are coming up this summer in regards to the feasibility study. Right now, IFF is working with the stakeholders who would be actually within the facility or offering services through the facility. So stay tuned for updates in regards to that. Other than that, I talked about some offerings within the federally qualified health center, so I don't want to drag that on. One last thing that we're focused on is elements of a healthy Maywood. So with the big focus of the elements of a healthy Maywood, this is the last slide. There are a laundry list of different opportunities for residents to get involved and engaged in every aspect. There's 12 different elements that focus on making a healthy community. So instead of saying healthy community, say healthy Maywood, because Maywood is our community. But there are multiple different opportunities to be engaged and to get involved. If you are interested in any of these, please contact our community engagement manager, Ms. Lysandra Banks, at lbanks@maywood-il.org, or you can call her at 708-450-6366. There again, during the summer, not during the summer, some of these are ongoing, but there is definitely a lot of opportunity to get involved within the village of Maywood, from early childhood all the way to senior services. So again, if you are interested in any aspect of community engagement and community volunteerism, please contact Ms. Banks. And with that being said, that's just a report, a brief overview of everything that was covered in regards to the state of Maywood. Again, if you would like, that is available for download on the village website. All right. Next topic we'll go into is Maywood Fest. Right. So we're going to talk about the things that are moving the community forward. So with Maywood Fest, it's just really going over the fact that Maywood Fest this year will be September 9th through the 12th. 9th through the 11th. So within Maywood Fest, you guys, we have showcased the video for Maywood Fest from last year. Nope, don't need that marker. I'm just going to go over this real quick. But going for Maywood Fest, the hours have been extended this year. So Friday will be from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. Saturday will be 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. September 11th, which is the last day, will be extended by 2 additional hours, so it'll be 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. This year, we're adding a car show to the Maywood Fest. We are adding a gospel concert to the Maywood Fest as well. Tomorrow, you'll be able to go to the Village of Maywood website and download applications for vendors who are interested in being a food vendor or being a retail vendor. So the Maywood Fest again is September 9th through the 11th. And that is the report. I'm just trying to get through the meeting. That is the report in regards to Maywood Fest. More information from a publication standpoint, and for the June mailer of information that goes out, we'll focus a lot more on the Maywood Fest. This year we have a lot of different DJs coming in. Friday will be house party day, house music day, so we'll focus on house music. Saturday we have a special entertainer that has been confirmed, but we can't actually speak about them until July, so look forward to that. And then Sunday we'll have Mickey Howard and Howard Hewitt. Okay. I'm glad you guys are able to be entertained. All right, so going forward, again, there is an HC, there is a video in regards to Village Pride Village Wide 2022. So for Village Pride Village Wide 2022, this was done in the last week of April. Or is the video here?
Yeah, sure. Okay. You can click.
All right.
Hey Maywood, how's everybody doing? Welcome to Village Pride Village Wide 2022. I am your mayor, Nathaniel George Booker. Just want to invite and thank you everyone for coming out to participate in a great community cleanup.
Y'all been here right now, you continue to play. This our village, God, that you continue to let us continue to move and go forward for the upbuilding of your kingdom. God, we be so careful, not for no self-vain glory, so that you may get the glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Ms. Loretta Brown kicked off Village Pride Village Wide as an opportunity to showcase our pride that we have into our community. There'll be a lot of activities going on throughout this summer, and this is just the kickoff. Today we're at 19 different locations, making sure that we're unloading mulch from trucks, we're doing some painting, we're doing planting, We're doing cleanup throughout the entire community. A lot of our youth have gotten involved today, so huge shout out to School District 89. What we're gonna be focused on this year is best block, best garden, best vegetables, best flowers, everything that has to do with showcasing community pride, unity within our community. This summer we will be sharing it, we will be celebrating it, and we'll be making sure that Village Pride Village Wide is made 365 throughout the rest of the year.
Village Pride Village Wide means the love for the community. It's the way that you show how much you love and care for your community. Just being out here and helping out just shows a tremendous amount of support and recognition for our community and how people want to help.
I've been here for almost 40 years, and this is like my second or third time being part of this, and I love it because I take care of my little area. But coming together and seeing everybody who loves this village, and that's who's here. People who love this village are making sure that this village is looking the very best because we deserve the best. It's the village of eternal light, and the light is continuing to shine. It's got to shine outside of this community so we can bring others in. Glad to be back here another year. Last year was awesome. This year's even greater. We got more youth working with us. We want to encourage more youth to come out. I enjoy us cleaning up Maywood and beautify our community and our village the way that other communities are, to attract more residents, to attract young people to move into the area and come out and help us next year. This is a great kickoff to our summer here in the village of Maywood, and we're looking forward to beautifying our town. There are other opportunities throughout the summer to engage and to be with other community partners and to collaborate on all of the great things that we're doing here in the village of Maywood.
You can always get involved throughout the summer if you just contact the Village Hall and speak to our community engagement manager, Ms. Banks. She'll be able to get you involved, let you know key things that are going on throughout the summer. So make sure you come out, get engaged, and have unity in the community.
All right, so that. So that was Village Pride Village Wide. It was a great day. We had a lot of different volunteers get involved. We had a lot of different organizations get involved. We still have different programming and involvement going on. Huge shout out to the Maywood Park District for helping take the lead in regards to Village Pride Village Wide, making sure that all the organizations knew where they were going, making sure that we had all the supplies that we needed. We've been purchasing supplies continuously, making sure that we were able to do planting. For groups that we did have a day where it was raining, so we didn't do it on the original date. For the groups that weren't able to help on the original date, they have been getting involved. Loyola just did a huge day where they were doing cleanup as a big project. We have other entities that are working with us in regards to tree planting, gardening, and different things like that. But we'll also be rolling out showcasing, again, like I said in the video, best block, best vegetable garden, best plants, different things like that. So look out in regards to date for things in regards to that. I'm going to go to 8D. So 8D is an open letter to Congress. I'm not going to read the letter in its entirety, but it was an open letter to Congress signed by over 400 different mayors throughout the country, focusing on urgent, immediate actions preventing gun violence, and then also focusing on mental health. So I'll just go to the one part where we call on Congress to quickly enact stronger laws that keep guns out of the hands of individuals who intend to commit violence, as well as support stronger mental health systems by shutting down the illegal sale and distribution of firearms and gun trafficking, requiring a waiting period of up to 30 days for the purchase and transfer of all guns, so that the local police agencies may check the criminal and mental health status of our purchasers, banning the manufacture, sale, importation, and transfer of all automation and semi-automatic assault-type weapons, requiring that the Department of Justice to work closely with state and local law enforcement to aggressively target and hold accountable licensed and unlicensed individuals who break the law by knowingly selling and transferring firearms or ammunition to prohibited persons, gun traffickers, or straw purchasers. Helping state and local government enact extreme risk protection orders, also known as red flag laws, requiring every state to include people who have been adjudicated as mentally ill or have been committed to any mental institution to be registered as prohibited person in the National Instant Criminal Background Check. So those are just a couple of things that have been included in regards to this. Another one is establishing a national commission that can assist federal, state, and local officials, gun right advocates, survivors of gun violence, law enforcement officers, and mental and medical health specialists to work with this issue, and then increase federal funding to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention to support data and indicators that will inform local strategy in cities and towns across the country as they address the issue of violence in their communities. So we all know some of the travesties that have taken place in regards to gun violence and mass shootings across the country. One thing that Chief Willis and the team are working on is ensuring that, God forbid, anything of an emergency happens within the village of Maywood, that all of our protocols are up to date, all of our response modes are up to date and fully aware of who needs to be doing what, so that we don't have to deal with some of the things that did take place in the case of, in the unlikely case that anything does actually happen. So just wanted to give everyone an update in regards to that. Other updates in regards to H8E, so West Suburban Cook County Partners Cross Community Climate Collaborative. I'm not sure what's that. So with the Cross Community Climate Collaborative, this is a partnership with all of our partners who are within the West Central Municipal Conference. So the West Central Municipal Conference consists of about 40 different communities in the western suburbs that are collaborating and working together for infrastructure in regards to our solar issues, in regards to waste management, in regards to saving and reduction of energy costs, and everything that affects the climate and climate control. So this Thursday, the mayors, federal government, state government, and other local and county government officials will be together at Triton College discussing cross-community climate collaborative and ways that we're going to be working together, and so that we can bring regional change in regards to reduction in our carbon footprint, focusing on energy reduction as well as our solar energy. 8F, local infrastructure hub, so it's support for U.S. cities, towns to put federal funding to work with residents. So if you look at, again, these are all things that can be downloaded for further information. But with the National League of Cities, they have done a partnership with Bloomberg. So Bloomberg has an innovation hub that the Village of Maywood is working with to work through 400 different grants that have to do with the infrastructure grant funding that's coming across us over the next few years. So with the Bloomberg and the National League of Cities, we'll be partnering to focus on what grants can be written. But they observe that smaller communities such as ours don't have the capacity or the staffing to accommodate all of the different grant writing that needs to take place. So Bloomberg, as an entity, as an innovator, has opted to help some of our select cities to be involved in a part of that. So we definitely are participating in the local infrastructure hub, and definitely I look forward to more updates in regards to coming towards that as more grants come available for the infrastructure funding, and as we are in receipt of them and as we are submitting them. So look out for updates in regards to that. 8G is just an acknowledgement that we'll be participating with a certificate in public leadership with the University of San Francisco and elected officials to protect America. This is a 8-week program that will conclude in Washington, D.C., where we will be working in regards to grant funding, public leadership, infrastructure, business management, financial management, transparency and accountability across the board. So this was a full-ride scholarship that came in regards to getting this done. I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware that we are working on moving the Village of Maywood forward by stepping outside of 60153 to make sure that we're able to bring great things into 60153. I talked about aging. H is talking about Aging in a Changing Region program. So Aging in a Changing Region program is a partnership that we're doing with the Metropolitan Planning Council, as well as Age Options. So with this program, there are meetings right now with a core group. There'll be 2 different community meetings. Within the one community meeting, it's the different government officials, government agencies, local elected official bodies that'll be taking place at the beginning of July. And then in August, there'll be a senior meeting because it's really focusing on aging in a changing region for senior citizens. So there'll be a full senior citizen event taking place. So inside that, for any resident that is interested in being part of the stakeholders workshop, that's not a senior citizen that wants to talk about changing. So this is for Thursday, July 7th at 12 p.m. And that will be at the Lightford Recreation Center, which is 809 Madison Street, which is on the corner of 9th and Madison. And then for the senior community workshop, that will be on Thursday, August 4th at 11 a.m. So again, this is for homeowners aging in their houses, falling behind on repairs, with available options to downsize, residents lacking transportation options to run errands, get groceries, or go to the doctor, residents that get stuck at home without broadband or connectivity to their community, and then services and facilities not designated for the growing share of older residents. So that is something, again, that we are working with Aging in the Changing Region initiative that's being paid for through the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus, as well as working heavily with the Metropolitan Planning Council. So just again, wanted to make sure that residents are aware there are many things going on in the village of Maywood through applying for these different grants, through applying for being a part of these different hubs, through attending different meetings throughout the region. We are, like people say, if you're sitting at the table or you're on the venue, the village of Maywood is definitely sitting at a lot of different tables right now. And I just want to make sure that the village residents are aware of that.
Amen.
All right. Next, before we get to public comment, is 8I. So that would be the Board of Police and Fire Commission activity report.
Hello, everybody. Hello. I've met most of you guys. Some of you I haven't met, but I'm honored and privileged to serve the village of Maywood.
We can't hear you, Mike.
Where's the wireless mic?
I'm honored and privileged. Can you hear me better? To serve the village of Maywood, and I really thank you guys for your service. It's something that you really have to want to do. And I'm here to just give you a report. And the first thing I'll tell you is who we are. My name is Jim Brewer. I've been a Maywood resident for 70 years. And I serve as the chairman of the Police and Fire Commission. I have 3 years experience so far. The secretary of our commission is Ms. Gloria Clay, who has 13 years experience, is well respected in the field. Ms. Rita Esther has 11 years of experience. We have career fireman, Mr. Gene Washington, who serves some great insight because he served as an actual fireman. So when we come to those subjects, he's very well versed, as well as Chris Brown, who's a career policeman, and the same thing. So we have a very good board, and we work collaboratively together to come to judgments and solutions on what it is that we are brought there to do. We also have Ms. Alexandria Taylor, who's a secretary to the Secretary Commissioner, and who's puts in lots of hours with her job of doing all the administrative tasks that she's called to do. What do we do? Just to explain a little bit of what we do, we're the human resources arm of both, sort of human resource arm of the police and fire department. One of the main duties that we have as a commission is to have ready a list of candidates for police and fire departments to choose from. And that list has to be ready all the time. So we're required to test for the purpose of being able to hire or approve those candidates to go through the process and eventually of being hired. As of the recent developments of George Floyd and the scrutiny that followed, along with COVID-19, our pool of candidates have diminished or has become less. Not just for Maywood, but all over the country, all over the state. This job has become less desirable. So what that means is that we will have to test more, in order to sustain that list. And that's what we've been doing. We test, hire, promote, and hear the grievances of both unions as well as conduct hearings when there are disputes that require legal redress. The testing requires that we utilize our best testing options, schedule those tests and advertise to the public that we're in fact conducting testing and where it will be held. We test both entry-level and lateral tests and written and oral tests. We review background tests and applications to vote on whether a candidate meets the criteria of the job and would be an ideal candidate for the job. We maintain training at locations outside of our village that require us to be present and to spend hours in sessions that cover changes in state law and how the law applies to our conducting our commission. Everything we do in the way of decisions is based on village rules and regulations, the state statutes, and the collective bargaining agreements that are made between the village and the firefighters union as well as the police union. So that means there should be some collaboration from us to just advise on what is advantageous. Because if we are hamstrung on what we can do as a commission, it makes us less effective. If we can't make determinations without being, kind of hamstrung by the unions. And that's something for the future. Okay, so what have we done? We meet twice a month on the second and fourth Thursday of each month. And just to let you know, at the suggestion of the then Chief of Police, Vladimir Talley, we established a lateral program to enhance our chances of increasing the pool of candidates available for hiring. And we finished that with the now present chief in establishing that lateral program. So, we also, as I said earlier, conduct hearings, and those hearings can take up many, many hours. We conducted about 4 sessions, and that 5 sessions in the hearing, just to speed things up a little bit. And it's taken, 6+ hours each. Our lateral meetings has taken 5+ hours. We had those meetings on January 27th, 28th, February 3rd, February 4th, February 8th. So all I'm trying to say is it's an inordinate amount of time. That time most probably will increase. And we also have to have training twice a year. So we travel down to Naperville or Springfield, and we spend a couple days, sometimes as much as 3 days, with all-day training sessions. And in addition to that, to promote within the police department and the fire department, we have to conduct exams for the promotion for the captain and lieutenant, respectively, in those 2 areas. So, these, the duties I have here listed of what Miss Alexandria Taylor does in her job. I was asked to come here to ask for an increase in pay. But before I do that, I want to just tell you what we've done in the since January. On the 11th of April, we hired our first police officer. We also hired our first fireman, Robert Hamilton. Ready to start full-time positions in July. We have 4 additional officers, part-time officers, Vegas And from our lateral program, McAllister, AG, and Morgan to be hired on the 5th and 6th of July respectively. So what we're asking for is a $50 increase per meeting, and for Miss Alexandria Taylor, an increase, she's at 16, we want an increase to 20. That's what we're asking for here today. I thank you for your attention, and if there's any questions, we'd be glad to answer them at any time. Our meetings, like I said, are held on the 2nd and 4th Thursday of every month. It's an open meeting. You're welcome to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Board, are there any questions? All right, we'll go to 9, public comment. In regards to public comment, when you come up, you step to the mic, you provide your name. You do not have to provide your address. You have 3 minutes to speak. Please ensure that you do adhere to the 3 minutes speaking time for public comment.
Our first speaker, Loretta Robinson.
Good evening to the mayor, members of the trustee board, and Mrs. Williams. My name's Loretta Robinson, and I have about 3 or 4 things I want to express. Some are opinions and some are questions. The first question I have is, I think I see it on the agenda about the repossession of the car for the mayor, and we're not going to get into any detail except that he should not be driving the village car with us paying the insurance as taxpayers. And even though he's not officially charged, he's charged, but he's not officially what you call guilty. I'd like an answer to that question. I also want to make a statement that the board meeting, a meeting for the survey that 3 of the trustees had for the representatives of this village was well attended. Questions were asked, and no violation of the Open Meetings Act wasn't even challenged. What we did, however, was ask questions that were non-political in terms of anyone being in violation of the Open Meetings Act. Now, what we did get were some answers, and we were halted by the trustees. And I say halted, we were not given any answers to any political questions that would have interfered with the Open Meetings Act. So let's not for 1 minute say that anyone violated that. Unless you were here or a fly on the wall, you don't know what we discussed. And I don't think it was fair that the mayor put out this information in a flyer about what was discussed and that it was in violation because he wasn't here. I think it was insensitive, it was unprofessional, and I do think that as citizens and taxpayers of this village, we were snubbed. Our taxpayers were snubbed because 4 of you did not show up for that meeting. And irregardless to what your excuses were, you were going to be here for the meeting that was with the survey. The survey is important. It's taxpayer dollar that's being used to improve our village. And you didn't even